What's going on, family? You back in the lab with Abrew Yashar'el, man. This right here is a disturbing one, but I think these young girls are young. And he was asking this interview was asking the question, who comes first? Your husband, your father, or your son? And a lot of these answers were a little all over the place, but I'm gonna let the video play. Probably gonna stop it a little bit, talk about it, but I let the video play its entirety towards the end of the show with no stoppage. So let's get into
your son, your father, or your husband?
My son. I'm putting my son first. My father, then my husband.
My son, and then my daddy, and then my.
So right there off the rip, like I say, I believe these ladies are young, and then he's asking them. They probably never been married. A lot of them probably not mothers. A lot of them don't probably have a father in the home, or And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that in a disrespectful manner. But what I'm saying, maybe they don't have a biblical father in the home to show them that. First of all, it's the Most High, and then the pecking order is your husband, your son, and then your father. He come after all that. So let's
my
keep
son.
going.
And then who?
My father, then my husband.
Why the husband last? Let me know something.
Because regardless if me and him together or not, my daddy and my son gonna be there. So fuck it.
Your
Son and husband, or my son, my husband, then my dad.
My son, my father, my husband. Yeah.
Okay, why y'all put husband last? Let me know something.
I love my daddy and I love my son.
So she probably ended up a single mother. I'm just being honest with you, because you got it. And I know some of y'all be like, "Oh, that was a low blow, Abrew." I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but what I'm saying, until you know the biblical structure of your husband and his role he plays in the family, yes, you shouldn't say "I do" if you don't believe he could lead you, or if you shouldn't say "I do" if you don't believe your husband ready or can lead you. But now you have to be ready to be led. Yes, your husband is the head of the house, ladies. You know what I mean? You can argue with me all you want. If your husband don't have the capacity to lead you in the way you want to be led, or the way you need to be led, or you don't believe in his leadership, when he asks you to marry him, you need to say, "No, I'm not ready," or "This ain't what I want," or "No." Just flat out no. You know what I mean? It's too many people get married, then be like, "Oh, he not the person I thought he was." No, there was red flags already there. There was red flags there with you. There was red flags there with him. And so I'm hearing a lot of these people saying, and then you're going to procreate and have a son with this man, and then put your son or your father before this man. It's a lot of that go on, especially in my community, where mothers put their son over their husbands, or make their sons the head of the household, which is in a blatant disrespect to the husband. I understand he might not be up to standard, or he might even lost a lot of luster in his way, or you might have just stripped it from him. You know what I mean? There's nothing worse than an argumentative, combative woman when you're trying to lead. There's only thing that has two heads is a monster. And there's no way a biblical man, a real man, a head of the household man, a leader, is going to allow two heads in his home. And I know some people, well, you can't allow anything. Listen, I love my wife. I love my family. And I'm looking directly at the camera. And my wife watch my shows. But my wife know there's only one head here. She is the co-pilot. And I take great consideration of what she's telling me, or saying, "Hey, babe, I think this is the way we should go, because I see A, B, C, D, and E." And I'm going to take great consideration of that. But if I truly believe that the family needs to head in this direction and we can't come on to a certain agreement, I'm going to make that decision as the head of this household and the head of this family, and we're going to live with that decision. You know what I mean? But that's not to say I'm going to discredit nothing my wife said, because I'm going to study and I'm going to pray on that thing to make sure that I'm making the right decision and ask the Most High to give me that right decision to make. But it's a lot of people out here not doing that, man. You know what I mean? They just, and a lot of women say, hey, I'm going to put my daddy first because he always been there for me. But when your father hand you over to another man, that man becomes your head, ladies. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? That's why I say, if you don't want another man to be over you, don't get married. That way your father is your head then at that time, or all for your whole life. You know what I mean? I have daughters, and I tell my daughter, yes, until they get married, yes, your father is your head. I'm their spiritual head, and I'm that male leadership head. But once they get married or accept that I do, and they go down and they say, who hand this woman off to this man? And I say, I do. Now I'm handing you off to another man to be your leader. And that's why you have to vet these young men. Anybody who gonna marry my daughter would be well vetted. Can you handle the task? Yes, I know how I raised my daughters, and they just ain't gonna run off the cliff with you. They gonna challenge if you look like you're going 90 miles per hour off this cliff. But at the same time, I'm not gonna be one of those fathers that come over to another man's household raising sand. I ain't do that, because I hand you off to a man, another man, unless you're doing some handy stuff like putting your hands on my daughter. Now we got a major problem. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, we have a major, major problem with that. Abrew coming. Abrew coming. But if y'all have a little disagreement, hey man, married couples always have a disagreement. Just never put your hands on my kids, especially my daughters. And my son either. You know, I'm sure his mom got something to say about that. But let's keep going, man.
My son, why wouldn't he be first? And my daddy, like, man, it's my daddy. Come on, you my husband. Husband, son, father. I feel like if I get married, my husband is supposed to be like the head of the house. That's supposed to be, the leader or whatever. And then, yeah.
So my girl toward the end, she got it right. She understands everything I was just talking about. She probably has a spiritual father in the home. She probably have a mother who accepts or who know the role of the family structure, the man, the woman, you know what I mean, and then the children. And the people don't understand that. First of all, that man have to follow the Elohim. That man got to follow his spiritual head. You know what I mean? And first you got to put the Most High right here. Then the Most High, your family, your children, everybody else fall in their place where they follow. I know some people in the mother and the father. No, that's incorrect order. And y'all can be mad at me all you want, and some people gonna be like, well, I'm gonna put my son and father over. You do what you got to do. But I'm telling you, a true leader, a true man, ain't gonna stand for that. Just being honest with you. Let's play it one more time in its entirety, and then I'll close it.
Your son, your father, or your husband?
My son. I'm putting my son first. My father, then my husband.
My son, and then my daddy, and then my husband. My son.
And then who?
My father, then my husband.
Why the husband last? Let me know something.
Because regardless, if me and him together or not, my daddy and my son gonna be there. So fuck it.
Your
Son and husband. Or my son, my husband, then my daddy.
My son, my father, and my husband. Yeah.
Okay, why y'all put husband last? Let me know something.
I love my daddy and I love my son. I can't.
I birthed my son. Why would he be first? And my daddy, like, man, it's my daddy. Come on, you my husband. Husband, son, father. I feel like if I get married, my husband is supposed to be like the head of the house. That's supposed to be, the leader or whatever. And then, yeah.
So, ladies, men, let me know your order. Because some men gonna put their child and their mother over their wife, and some husband gonna put their son and their father over their husband. So let me know y'all order. What's y'all order? 1, 2, and 3. You know, I tell y'all know my order. You know what I mean? First of all, it's gonna be the Most High. Then it's gonna be my wife, then my kids, and then my mother and father and family and all that other stuff. You fall in where you fall in after that. With that said, man, I'm Abrew Yashar'el. Please like, subscribe, and share the channel. Until next time, people. Shalom.